Hello everyone, and good evening or good morning or whenever you're watching this. My name is Mystical Essence. I am an intuitive tarot and oracle card reader, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. So today I wanted to do a pick a card reading for you all for the week. So, to the left, you're going to see a picture. I want you to focus on that picture and focus on which number, which pile jumps out at you the most. And we're going to go through the piles and do the readings for you guys. So, let's begin. So here is the first pile. The first pile consists of the World card reversed. We have the High Priestess. And we have the Star card. So, first off, with you, if you chose number 1 this week, you're having a lot of issues evolving and moving on to things. I feel like there's something that you're ready, there's something that you've been contemplating taking to the next level, or that you're really wanting to take to the next level. You're wanting to really upscale things and move on past things, and you're at this point where you're ready to change things up and evolve things. But there's a few issues with this. I feel like no matter how hard, sorry, my camera was going to fall over there. No matter how hard you're trying to no matter how hard you're trying to get to this next level of things, you're feeling really, really stuck right now. And I feel almost like this energy of, the more stuck you get, the more determined you get to kind of push through it, right? And you're kind of you just push harder and harder and harder and harder. And then when things aren't happening the way you want them to, you're getting very frustrated and you're getting very discouraged in a lot of ways. But we have advice for you. So, if you chose, sorry about this, guys. If you chose to, your advice is to stop pushing. We have the High Priestess card with the Star card. So these are both cards of guidance. Okay. The High Priestess, wrong card. The High Priestess comes up. She tells you to, with this card, I feel like this is saying to pause. This isn't a time to take action. The moon is very reflective, and the moon is what is connected to the High Priestess. This is the astrology that's connected to this card is the moon. So the moon's really reflective and it's really receptive to energies, okay? It takes in the sun's energy and reflects it back out as light, right? So I feel like, your advice for this week is to kind of stop pushing. The evolution will happen when it's meant to happen, and pushing kind of creates that friction, because when you push against something that's not ready to happen or not meant to happen just yet, you create that friction. It's kind of like stretching an elastic band and then letting it go, right? So I feel like this card is saying just to pause, take some time, calm down, relax, breathe, do some meditation, do whatever you need to calm and center yourself and take a break from it, and open yourself up to things. I feel like you really need to be reflecting right now on this. If you're feeling like there are blocks, if you're feeling like, okay, hold on. The next card that's coming up is the Star card. So the Star card talks about guidance. This is divine timing and guidance. Back in ancient times, the stars were what people used to define time. It's what they used to guide them. Before we had compasses and stuff, people used to map the skies out. The stars were their guidance. So with this card, I feel like you just need to take a step back, stop pushing towards things and listen, because I feel like that guidance is coming into you guys. Pay attention to the signs that are coming to you. I feel like there's things that are happening around you that are really guiding you. But you're not being receptive to them because you're so focused on pushing forward, right? The answers, the High Priestess is a card of finding answers within yourself as well. So you hold the answers that you need. The signs are being given to you. The answers are being given to you. You just have to be open enough to hear them, right? There could be several different things that are occurring right now that you need to focus on. I feel like if you're a 1 this week, whatever hang-ups you're having, whatever blocks you're having as far as really progressing and moving on to the next level of things, of upscaling things, you just need to take a break. I feel like you guys are pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing forward when now isn't the time to take action. The cards are saying you really need to take some time to reflect on this. And also, when cards come up reversed like that, they're reflections, right? Take the time to actually reflect on this. Look at why you're being hung up. Look at, what is standing in your way of moving forward and what can you do about it. And be open. Sit with these thoughts. And I feel like what you need to do is really just sit without a goal in mind, which is really hard to do. Sit and think about the situation. Feel where you are right now, but don't judge it. You know what I mean? Don't focus on it with an intent, as in don't think about it as in how can I get rid of these blocks, what can I do. Sit there with a clear mind and just let things come to you, because I feel like the way out of these blocks will come to you, but you need to be open and receptive to receiving the answers that are going to come to you. And to do that, you need to clear your mind. If you start thinking about things with an intent, right? A lot of times when we can't get to places we want to be, we're like, how do I get there? How do I get there? How do I get there? And we're so focused on how to get there that we don't open ourselves up. We're looking at it from a point of what actions can I take, and sometimes there is no actions, sometimes there is. But if we're not open to receiving the answers either way, we're not going to get very far. And I feel like you guys are too focused on getting to where you want to be that you've closed yourself off to any answers. So if you're really struggling to take things to the next level, take a break from it, sit things out, and listen, because meditate, clear your mind, and listen to what messages come in, because the guidance is definitely coming to you. You hold more answers as well than you are aware of. You just have to be open to receiving them. So that's what I'm getting for number 1s this week. Now we are going to move on to number 2. So number 2s, if you chose pile number 2, what I got for you, we have the 6 of Wands coming up reversed. We have the 7 of Cups coming up reversed. And we have the 10 of Swords coming up upright. So for you guys, if you chose number 2, I feel like there's a defeat or a feeling of not being victorious or triumphant in something. I feel like you guys are feeling really weighed down, or might be feeling really weighed down this week. You might be really struggling to succeed with something, and I feel like your confidence is taking a hit because you're not being able to succeed with things. You may be thinking you're a failure because you're not succeeding where you want to succeed. There's definitely this feeling of wanting to succeed or trying to succeed at something and not being able to. And as a result, it's kind of weighing you down. It's pulling your confidence down. It's draining your energy. It's just making you feel really, really terrible all around. So what I'm getting for advice is to stop being so narrow viewed, okay? I feel like you guys are really, especially with these two cards, I feel like you guys are really so focused on what you want, what success is, right? So let's say you wanted to pass a test and you didn't pass the test. You're focused on passing the test, and to you, you're a failure because you didn't pass the test. But what you're failing to see is that you may have succeeded in another area. You may have learned a whole bunch while studying for that test. So really, you weren't failing. You weren't a failure because you failed the test, because you succeeded at doing something else. That's what this card is all about. I feel like this card is giving you the advice to stop focusing on one thing. Stop focusing on where your failures are and what's not working out for you, because there's so much else around you that you are succeeding at, or that you could succeed at, if you just open your eyes and see everything that's around you. So think about it. Think about, if you're feeling low and you're feeling like you're just not succeeding at things and you just can't get to where you want to be, think about how far you've come. Think about what successes you've had despite the challenges, right? I feel like by thinking about things and expanding that view and saying, well, maybe I didn't succeed with this, but I gained this, right? So, for instance, maybe you wanted to buy a new car and that didn't work out for you. But you still managed to get the car you have fixed. So you may not have succeeded at getting a new car, but you succeeded at still having a running car, right? You still have a vehicle that works and operates regardless. So that's a success. You still managed to succeed in having an operating vehicle, even though it wasn't the new one you wanted. So that leads into the Ten of Swords, sorry. The Ten of Swords is obsessive thinking, and sometimes when we think and we think and we think about things that we're not good at, such as this, all our failures, when you think about where you failed, it can take you to very dark places. The card tens are awesome. They're not only about, this card isn't only about obsessive thinking, it's obsessive thinking on the shadow side. But on the other side of that, it's about transformative thinking and transforming your thinking. So, I don't know what it was that I was listening to a while ago, but there was an example that came up in how it's all about how you think, right? They quoted this famous inventor that was trying to create, I think it was Tesla, or maybe it was Tesla when he was creating the coil for electricity, and he failed so many times, and they told him he was never going to get it, and he said, I didn't fail, I learned what doesn't work. That's the thing. When you're not succeeding at something, you're not failing. You're learning. It's a learning process, right? You learn what works, you learn what doesn't, and you can take those lessons with you to be able to succeed. So this card is saying, evolve your thoughts past your failures and take yourself out of this dark space that you're in, because sitting there and thinking and thinking and thinking about where you're not succeeding is just going to bring you more failure. It's just going to keep you pinned down in this dark space. But if you can think and look out beyond that shore onto the horizon where there is that yellow, right? There is that joy, there is that success further out. And you can see, well, where you've been successful despite things, you're going to be able to see things in a different way, okay? And then that stuff isn't going to be able to hold you down, because you'll be able to learn from your mistakes and figure out how to work with them to be more successful. And when you're looking at things from a point of, well, maybe where am I successful, as opposed to looking at the positive as opposed to looking at the negative. Looking at the negative is good to an extent, but when you start obsessing over it and going crazy with it, it's not. So evaluate it, figure out where you went wrong, figure out what's blocking you from succeeding, and then use that knowledge to move forward. Okay, don't dwell in it. And then last but not least, we have pile number 3. So, pile number 3, we have the 4 of Cups coming up reversed. We have the Knight of Wands coming up reversed. And we have the Page of Wands coming up reversed. So I feel like you guys, if you're a 3 this week, pile number 3, you're kind of, feel like you're kind of stuck in this crying over spilt milk energy, right? You're very dissatisfied with something, you're very pouty about something, you're just overall not really emotionally happy. I feel like you're kind of stuck in these energies. But the thing is, what is also coming up, this doesn't come up as an advice card, I don't feel like. Maybe it is. But I also see that while you're stuck in these energies, you're not really doing anything to get out of these energies either. The fact that the Knight of Wands is reversed tells me that you're not taking any action to really get out of this energy. You're sitting in this energy, and you're sitting in this energy, and you're sitting in this energy. So the advice is to start taking action to get out of this energy. We also have the Page of Wands coming up. So you have, the Page is about learning, it's about new journeys, it's about messages. So I feel like the message for you guys this week is you have 2 choices. You're kind of stuck in this energy of pouting and being upset and crying over spilt milk, and you really need to get yourself out of that energy. But by sitting around and doing nothing, you're not going to get yourself out of that energy. So you have a choice. You can sit, do nothing, and continue to cry over spilt milk, or you can get up, do something, and move forward. I feel like this is saying you can use that energy. You can channel and harness that energy to kind of propel you forward. Or you can sit and you can dwell in that energy, and you can use that energy to keep you stagnant. The choice is really yours this week. I feel like there's a lot of reflection work that needs to go on, because I do feel like you guys are just not motivated. Really, I feel like this whole, emotional slum, it's the best way I can describe it, that you're in, has really taken away your motivation, your passion, and your desire to push forward. So I feel like you guys have to really take some time to think about what's going to make you happy. Where do you regain that happiness? Where do you regain that joy? Where do you regain that love? Where do you regain that inspiration? What is keeping you from that, right? What is keeping you from moving forward? Because I feel like really your reading is... It seems very blunt and to the point in that, if you're a 3 this week, you're feeling really crummy, but you can do something about it. You can use that energy and move forward with things. You can use that energy to learn from and grow from and move forward from, or you can use it to prevent you, you can use it as a crutch and let it hold you back. Really, the choice is yours. So, yeah, So those are my readings for this week for you all, and I want to say thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you guys all have an awesome week, and I will be back next week with more pick a card readings. Bye for now.